So, here's the letter. February 21st, 2019. Greetings. Thank you for taking the time to read my letter. I really appreciate it. My name is Nisim R. Lopez. I'm a 43-year-old Cuban-American artist based in Miami, Florida. I am contacting you in order to denounce a hideous crime that is being perpetrated against me here in the United States. Contract stalking and electronic weapons attacks sponsored by corrupt elements in the US government. Yes, I am a targeted citizen. I've been experiencing organized community harassment sponsored by the authorities since January of 2011. This thing ruined my life. You might be saying to yourself, what exactly is organized community harassment, right? Well, this is not easy to explain. One could say that contract stalking is bullying on steroids. Organized stalking, covert harassment, or community-based mobbing is pretty much a form of political repression, extrajudicial punishment. Organized stalking is a secret program of the United States government designed to destroy targeted individuals, non-investigative subjects, emotionally and psychologically through dark neurolinguistic programming and negative aversive stimuli. We're talking here about state-sponsored psychological terrorism in the name of social engineering. And before I continue, yes, I know there are good people working in the fusion centers. Yes, I know there are good people in DHS. Yes, I know there are good people in the FBI. Yes, there are good people in the police. I understand this. But the bottom line is, corrupt people in positions of power are behind the targeted individual program and they are destroying lives. No question about it. As far as the organized community harassment done to me every single time I go out into the general public, the unjust, systematic harassment is done by a group of people in an organized fashion using unethical means to torment, preoccupy, agitate, intimidate, and terrorize the isolated victim 24/7, no matter where he goes. We're talking here about community-based mobbing done by civilians, based on choice reference patterns. The targeted citizen is exposed to a stressor outside the range of usual human experience. He is terrorized 365 days a year, 24/7. He is kept in a state of anxiety and hypervigilance until he finally breaks down, after years of indescribable psychological abuse. Most victims of this program end up homeless, in jail, or in psychiatric institutions, discredited, with no support system, broken in spirit. Once a targeted individual is labeled as mentally unfit, his credibility is out of the window. Overall, organized stalking is a secret, illegal, long-term, unconstitutional surveillance program designed to neutralize politically incorrect freethinkers that are designated as enemies of the state, even if they are just innocent, harmless, law-abiding citizens that pose no real threat to anyone. Who are the agent provocateurs recruited by the authorities that constantly harass the targeted individual in an organized fashion? They are called surveillance role players or citizens on patrol. They believe they are patriots and heroes serving a noble cause. They come from all types of social backgrounds. We're talking here about men, women, old, young, rich, poor, etc. Most of them are bottom feeders. These mindless automatons are brainwashed into believing that the target is a really bad person, a terrorist, a murderer, or a sex offender, like a rapist or a child molester. We're talking here about a professional character assassination campaign, a clandestine civil military operation. Basically, law enforcement and the intelligence community using the civilian sector as irregular forces. Keep in mind that the targeted individual is also subjected to directed energy weapons and other forms of psychological torture. I'm talking about remote neuro-influencing technology. In our modern days, the military has access to a sophisticated technology known as transcranial stimulation. Some call it synthetic telepathy, neuro-nanotechnology. This secret technology of DARPA flavor enables the handlers to insert thoughts, words, phrases, images, impulses, dream videos, etc. into the target's psyche, especially if the highly traumatized victim is in an altered state, in a state of functional disorientation. Thanks to brain-to-computer interface, they can make a digital clone of the target's brain. We're talking here about a system of neurocognitive warfare, AAA, access, assess, and affect. All the experiences of the human test subject are stored in a supercomputer that predicts behavior based on past choices. The computer literally resonates with the biofrequency of the target. We're talking here about a reverse engineering behavioral modification program, a military experiment, non-therapeutic, non-consensual human experimentation. So now, the leader of clandestine operations in the CIA, Elizabeth Kimber, she doesn't know this is happening in America? The Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence, Susan M. Gordon, she doesn't know this kind of thing is taking place? The Assistant Attorney General of the National Security Division, John Charles Demers, the Department of Justice, he doesn't know this is going on? The director of the FBI's Terrorist Screening Center, Charles H. Cable, he doesn't know this is going on? The Undersecretary of Homeland Security for Intelligence and Analysis, David J. Glow, he doesn't know this is going on? Of course they all know this sick shit is going on. So, on one hand, we got heavy, overwhelming, multi-layered harassment based on choice reference patterns. Then, Black Ops neuroweapons of AFSPC flavor capable of depriving a person of sleep. A perfected breakdown tactic on the human will. Who's behind this? Well, as I already mentioned, the deep state criminal cabal. This is a multi-layered interagency program. The fusion centers are the command station for organized community harassment, stalking. The local police is involved, of course. One way or another, all the institutions of state are complicit in this insane vigilante operation known as covert organized stalking. We're talking here about InfraGard, Citizen Corps, Neighborhood Watch, etc. Absolute corruption, pretty much. Not so long ago, the State Department spokeswoman Elizabeth Trude acknowledged that the Russian intelligence was using unethical means in order to harass and intimidate U.S. diplomats in Russia. Not so long ago, mainstream media legitimized the experience of the US diplomats in Cuba and in China who experienced sonic attacks, microwave weapons. But if I, Nisin R. Lopez, if I say that I am being unjustly and systematically harassed in America, you know, by corrupt people who work in the fusion centers and in other places, of course, then I am, delusional and paranoid. I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? So, my dear friend, basically, I am contacting you to see if you can help me expose these domestic terrorists who are behind this Nazi program. I want tranquility. I want peace. I want, these crooks to leave me alone. Is that too much to ask? I would like to respectfully clarify. I am not trying to insult anyone with this letter. I am not trying to be confrontational in a subliminal way. And no, I am not trying to demonize the US government. I am very grateful, that I've been given the great opportunity to come to America. I'm very proud of the American flag. I just want these corrupt, evil people in positions of authority to stop killing me slow motion. I am not a criminal, I am not a terrorist, I am not a serial killer, and I am not a sex offender. I'm just an artist into old school heavy metal rock. You know, heavy metal, my pride. These folks in law enforcement and in the intelligence community that are recruiting civilians in order to harass me left and right, they are spreading a false narrative so that people will hate me. They've been doing this crap since January of 2011. Years of my life lost. I ask you the following. How would you feel if you would know that corrupt people in positions of power are going around in your neighborhood telling people that you're a terrorist, a serial killer, a rapist, or a child molester? A defamation campaign. This is how they recruit foot soldiers that will be willing to mess with you every time you are in the general public. I'm talking here about acts of provocations, you know, choreographed street theater, rude behavior, noise campaigns, home breakings, mimicking, invasion of space, verbal breakdown, engineered collisions, orchestrated synchronicities, entrapment, etc. Pretty horrible stuff. This is the kind of thing I've been experiencing since January 2011 until now. We're on, basically 2019. I know that as you read this, maybe you're wondering, who pulled the strings so that you will be placed in this program? Well, it's a very long and complicated story. Some influential people in Miami, Florida, pulled the strings so that I will be crucified through this torture program. So, here's a summary of what these cowards are doing to me. Number one, unjust, systematic, organized community harassment stalking, non-stop, 24/7, 365 days a year, every time I'm in the general public. Negative aversive stimuli and dark neurolinguistic programming. This is designed to destroy my mental health and to push me over the edge. Number two, trauma-based mind control technology, remote neuroinfluencing. Every time I go to sleep, they use synthetic telepathy in order to implant disgusting, unnatural stuff into my psyche. Words, phrases, images, impulses, dream videos, etc. The idea behind this is to make me believe that those are my real thoughts when they are not. A mind rape operation. They are blasting my psyche with these electronic assaults. Basically, these corrupt folks behind this personality disintegration program are blasting my mind every day. When I go into the streets, they got agent provocateurs messing with me everywhere. And when I go to sleep, well, they got individuals that are getting paid to blast my mind with military technology. How nice, right? Unbelievable. This secret government program is going to be shut down eventually. Sooner or later, everyone in America is going to find out. As of today, most people in USA know that September 11th was an inside job. So eventually, everyone in America is going to know that corrupt people in positions of power were conducting diabolical mind control experiments on innocent, harmless, law abiding citizens. There has been, for example, a leading edge bill proposal in California that criminalizes organized torture via organized stalking and electronic weapon attacks. It is called the Organized Torture Act, by Dr. Tomo Shibata. Go ahead and Google it. The folks in law enforcement and in the intelligence community, what are they going to say to the public once the targeted individual program is fully unmasked? Well, they're going to say that they were patriots and heroes serving a noble cause, that they were protecting America. At that time, they will do their best in order to justify a multi-trillion-dollar national security, counterterrorism, corporate military intelligence, police-state complex. It's all about power and control, right?